Welcome to Brewski Tech. Today I've got a short video for you on multimeters. So a multimeter, if you're building electrical circuits, is kind of like a tape measure is to a carpenter. It's the tool that you're using all the time to just take quick measurements as you're making something. A multimeter can measure a number of different electrical properties. This is kind of a fancier one. It has a digital display and it can read capacitance and frequency and even temperature and fancy things like that. But the core things that you really need in a multimeter to be able to read are resistance, or ohms, DC voltage, AC voltage, and current, or amperage. And then along with that, it's really nice to have a continuity checker, which is really just a resistance measurement, but with an audible tone. And I'll show you why that's useful here soon. Also, I like to have two different sets of leads. That's the wires that are attached here. So the set you see right here actually has clips on the end of them. So you can clip them onto wires and they'll stay attached. So that's nice because you don't have to use your hands. You can attach them and just be doing something else, but but watch the display on here, like for voltage or something like that. But it's also nice to have kind of the more traditional leads like these, where you hold one in each hand and you can probe different points in a circuit with kind of a needle-shaped tip. So that's useful too. It just depends on the situation. Also, it should be noted that this is a digital multimeter because it has a digital display. These are often abbreviated DMM, so if you ever see that abbreviation, that's what they're referring to. But there's also this older type of multimeter. This is an analog meter. So you can see on it, hopefully, that there's a needle display. And these seem old, but they're still kind of useful. There's two things about them that I find useful. One is sometimes it's a lot easier to look at a needle moving on a display rather than actually quickly interpret the numbers that are on a digital display. So it's sometimes a better visual indicator. And then the other thing that's nice is a digital multimeter needs batteries to operate. It can't do anything if the batteries are dead inside of it. This one does require batteries if you're measuring resistance, but if you're measuring current or voltage, it doesn't need any batteries. So you can actually just pull this thing out and check the voltage on something and not worry about dead batteries. Okay, so let's demonstrate a few of the functions on the multimeter. So right here I've got the probes of the multimeter attached to alligator clips, and that's attached to a power supply that's just off screen. And so right now you can see the multimeter is reading 0.6 millivolts, so basically zero. Okay, let's turn on the power supply. Okay, you can see it's ranging in, and there we go, it's 5.2 volts, which it's a 5-volt power supply, so that sounds about right. Don't short the leads together. Okay, and finally, let's check out the continuity setting for the multimeter. So this again is just a resistance reading, but it has an audible tone to it. So notice when I touch the leads together, it gives me a tone because those are shorted. So that's saying that these are electrically connected, which is obvious, but I use this a lot when I build a circuit. I'll often check the power rails, so the positive and ground terminal, just to make sure that that I haven't shorted something, because if you plug that into power with the power and ground shorted, it's probably going to fry something in your circuit, and that's really bad. So I always just do a quick check to make sure I haven't screwed up and shorted the power rails together. So let's check out this breadboard here, and I'm just going to check the positive and minus terminals, and the continuity checker tells me that they're shorted together. And now obviously I've shorted them myself with this little orange wire, but it's often not quite as obvious in a real circuit. But this is a good safety check to do. This is probably the most common thing I do. Well, anyway, I hope this was helpful, learning a little bit about how to use a multimeter. Thanks for watching, and let us know if you have any questions or comments down below.